Anyone has any questions tonight, uh, feel free to ask. Yeah, because I'm looking at the people here and no one is inspiring me at all. So just ready to go. I need to. It's like I remember there was a man, one of the first people that uh, brought a real effect of non-duality on me was this guy called Ramesh Balsekar. He used to be like the driver for another guy called Nisargadatta. Many people have heard the I Am That character. And then he was a translator also for him. And he became a teacher in his own right. So I, what am I going there for? Oh, so when I got there, this book I read from him called Who Cares really moved me to the point where I flew to Bombay to go see him because he was 85 at that time. I thought he may be dying soon, and so I wanted to check him out. So I did. And when I got there, you met downstairs, and it was at his place. He had like an apartment with his family. And then at 9 o'clock, they let you up. So there wasn't that many people there, but they were always asking who was new at the place down there because he had lost all interest in sharing with the same people. So they had to have a new person and they put you in a chair right in front of him. And then you would prime the pump, so to speak, and then the satsang would come. So everybody who was new got this role to sit in front of him and stuff. And then he'd ask you some questions like, do you have a place to stay? And yes. Have you eaten anything? Yes. Because he would say, if you're starving and you don't have a place to stay, it's, you're not going to hear satsang. Yeah, you got first things first. Yeah. So, and it was quite interesting to going there. And someone in later on, someone sent me a video and they know me, so they said, I really want you to look at the video because I don't usually look at things. And so I did. And it was this guy, Ramesh Balsekar. And then I heard the person who they had up in front and he asked this person, what do you do? And then the person answered, and it was me. It was my voice. And so they had videoed that day. It's probably videoed many days, but this person had it and they sent it to me. And it was really cool because he was presenting something that really had a lot of weight to it if you looked at it. And that was, he was very, very accommodating in a way. So he would talk about mind as two aspects of it. One, the working mind, the small m, that's got value, yeah, to navigate here, two and two equals four and all that. But then there's the psychological mind that's adding a lot of meaning and interpretation to it, yes? And it's better if the working mind would have the more dominant position than the psychological. Well, most people, the psychological is taken over. And so whatever they do or don't do is being gone over and over and over again. Yes. And that's where the mountains, the molehills are made into mountains and stuff like that. That subjectiveness really is what demagnifies and magnifies things. Yeah, changes proportions and everything like that. The working mind has value if it's the old idea that the head is a good servant but not a good master. So his servant aspect would be the working mind, and the master aspect would have been the psychological. Okay, so it was quite very nice. And then he had his main, I feel, this is how I saw him, his main emphasis was personal doership. He was trying to question that constantly. Yes. And going over like an event and then seeing what all the things that had to happen for that event to happen. Like you go get in the car and drive away. Well, the ignition would have to work and then the fuel would have to fire for you to have the car on so you could go. Yes.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting thing. He asked us, the people that were there, hey, go back and go over an event during your day. Yeah. And
Okay.
just look at it and see this. And in a weird way, my head had so much resistance to that. When I got back to the place I was staying at, it was like looking to do anything else but that, to sit
Mm-hmm.
there and go over it, because in the head, the doership is sacrosanct. It's incredibly, it's the linchpin of that this is your life and everything else is that you are the doer of it. Yeah. So when you go to that, when you approach that not from inside of it, but from outside, it gets uncomfortable, the head. And I've
Yeah.
noticed through all the years of doing talks, uh, if you were playing to the audience, you would very rarely start talking about there is no doer because the whole audience would shift because the reaction of from the head is quite common, which is, does that mean I'm just going to lay on a couch all day? Yes,
Yeah.
these weird assumptions that if they were not a doer, what they would be doing. It's such insane. You can't get out of, yes.
Mm.
Yeah, the doer can't get out of the doer as the doer. Yeah, on and on and on. So whatever. So he shared this thing, and presented it as personal consciousness and impersonal consciousness. Okay,
Okay.
so the personal consciousness of us, let's say, and then the impersonal, the everywhereness, all the whatever. Yeah, and he says, all right, so. And then I've changed it. But he said, did you work at when you're in America? I go, yeah, I have a job. He says, you have a place to stay? I do, I think. I don't know if I have now, but at that moment, but I said, yeah, I have a place to stay. He says, okay, well, when you leave your home to go to work, do you forget that you have a home? Yeah. Does work is sufficient enough to make you forget you have a home? I go, no, no, I know I have a place, and I'm probably going to go there for lunch, home. Yeah.
Mhm.
Says, okay. Now, if you stay at work longer than usual, are you more apt to realize to forget you have a home? No. You know, let's say if your job takes you to Europe and you live in America, do you think distance makes it seem more harder to remember you have a home? No. It's like a knowing I have a place to live.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't have, and would you be chanting, I have a home while you are at work? No, I won't, because the work isn't a threat to the idea I have a home. Home is something completely different than the work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm at work, but I have a home. Yeah. So he said, okay. So this is sort of like when the personal consciousness seems to be the event of the day. That's the action figure world. You're going to work, so to speak. But really, what your condition is the impersonal consciousness that never changes. You never, no matter where you go, you never leave it. No matter how far away you think you are, you've never left it. Yes? And therefore, there's no need to keep chanting, you're that when you're that.
Yes.
Yeah. The most of the time when you chant that you're something, you're chanting it from something else.
Yeah.
And you want to sort of get a relief from that something else. So you're going, I'm not a body, I'm not a body. Because at that moment, the only thing that wants to get out of a body is a body identification. Everything that's out of a body doesn't have to chant it's out of a body. It's quite aware that it's not in a body. Yeah.
Yes.
But when we get this thing where, you know, the formatted programming is you're in a body, you
Yeah.
are a body, yes? And then there's discomfort that you believe is rooted in that identification. And then as that identification, you try to chant you're not a body, that's reinforcing the body.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's that little mistake that happens quite a lot. So there's an act of being identified as self, as a body, that's going and that's passing as you. And then another aspect of you says, I want to get out of that. But they're
Mhm.
both of the body, they're both connected. So now something that's doesn't want to be the body is also chanting over the underlying. chant of I'm a body. So,
Yeah.
and both of them are body oriented. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the whole point of where he describes there's a non-existent thing, which would be a body. An unanimated body is a non-existent thing. Yes?
Yeah.
Whatever you thought of that body when it was animated, it's quickly forgotten when it's not. You, for 60 years, you've been calling a body that's a friend of yours called Johnny. And as soon as Johnny dies and you see the body, you immediately, John left.
Yeah.
But the thing that you was calling Johnny for 60 years hasn't left, but the animating principle left. Yes.
Yes.
And then immediately you have a recognition that you couldn't have for the 70 years he was living as, an animated body. But as soon as you see the non-existent thing, it's super clear that's not Johnny. You don't, it's not a spiritual path that takes you there. It's just a simple recognition, quite easy.
Yes.
Yes? Why isn't that available when it's animated? 70
Um,
years, you've called Johnny a body, yeah? And
yeah.
then the moment Johnny seems to depart from the body, you get up there in the memorial when the body's sitting in the way in the funeral parlor in the coffin and it's open and it's filled with flowers and you're talking about how much you miss Johnny. And you could have just say, well, there he is. He's right there. He's right in front of you. And you go on about how great Johnny was, and there he is. Why are you talking about me? I'm right here. Yeah,
Yeah.
but the immediacy of the recognition that Johnny was not the body is not arrived at through practice. It's been hidden, and one of the ways it's hidden is through practice. Yeah,
Yes.
because you're practicing as a body. That's why the spiritual path is called a path.
Yes.
Yeah. What's one thing that can take a path? A body that has legs, can move, and stuff like that. Could you apply that to spirit? Do you think there's like spirit would stay in the fast lane and not go in? Where would there be? It would be so formatted you could almost see it. So the path of a spirit would be no path. Yeah.
Yes.
Because the essence of spirit isn't somewhere and not somewhere else. Well, let's say space or presence.
Yes.
There's no void in presence. It's all presence.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a, like this is a presence hotspot. These people have been meditating for 50 hours. You can feel the presence, but basically you can feel presence everywhere
Everyone.
because it's everywhere. Yeah. The head oh, this is a super hot spot.
PowerPoint.
It's a PowerPoint. And then you get there as a body and you try to luxuriate, say, I'm, 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 I'm gulping up this energy.
Right.
The presence isn't here and then it goes in here and then it gets in there. You're an appearance in it. You
Yes.
have, there is, from the presence point of view, there is no demarcation of you. You're
Yes.
just an appearance, almost like something on a screen that never enters the screen. It's appearing on the screen. Yeah. It
Yes.
never appears in the screen. No, it appears on the screen. Yeah. And if you weighed the appearances, let's say the screen, let's say there was like Ben-Hur on it showing, and there's thousands of extras, and they got the horses, and they're doing that chariot thing, and you weighed that screen, yeah, and then 10 minutes later, it was the end of the movie, and the screen was void, it would weigh exactly the same. It's, the Ben-Hur shit didn't put any weight on it,
Hmm.
yeah, and didn't extract any weight from it. Yeah.
Yes.
It hasn't done nothing.
Nothing.
It was an appearance. And probably the screen just overlooked it completely. I don't think the screen has ever watched a movie that was played on it. I just don't. I just think the screen has a screen way of looking that doesn't pick up all the meaning and all the shit that's given to the movie from one of the characters of the movie.
Yeah.
As it says in the course, nothing you see here means anything.
Mm.
Yes, that's the original view. And then the head fills that up with subjective narration and
Yeah.
gives a lot of meaning to shit.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of meaning to shit. And then it builds on that pyramid scheme. And then suddenly, this recognition of the non existent thing as an existent thing that falls in the category of billions of views becomes coronated as a special terminally unique you called me.
Mm.
And you only have one follower, but it's a cult nonetheless. The cult of self. It's the only thing that's following itself constantly. And everyone's worshiping in their own direction. So it's like 360 zillion degrees, and each one has a little slot that you see the exact same thing, but it's different to me. And there could be one channel, one radio station playing to billions of people, and each person thinks it's their radio station. Yeah, it's K Paul and K Ali and K Steve, but it's not. Yeah. So he did, I thought that was a beautiful way of doing it because a lot of people are chanting, I am everything while being everything. Yeah. And they would say, believe the non-duality view would see that as a mistake because chanting that you're everything while being everything is not being everything. It's being used to make something happen. Yes.
Yes.
So it's almost as a counter because you really feel like you're a something. So then you're chanting, I'm everything. And really, this chanting I'm everything from the something is reinforcing the something.
Yes.
The chanting of everything isn't diminishing the something, it's reinforcing it. It's actually growing. Yeah. Yes, because
Yes.
this is duality in a sense. Yeah. You put this goes and then something else happens. Most people don't see the something else. Like most people maybe realize what they move towards in life, but they don't see what they're moving away from.
Mm.
And the action figure is always in a state of moving towards and moving away. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
dualistic tide, so to speak. So there's aversion and hate, and then there's desire, and I don't even wouldn't call it love. It's sort of a lust of something.
Yes.
Yes. And that movement keeps going on and on. And the slinky can't generate anything itself. It gets one push and then it just keeps going like this.
Yeah.
Like the one grasping produces the next recoiling, and then the recoiling produces the grasping. Yeah, and on and on. And it's a dualistic movement, like a two-step movement that keeps everything, keeps something that doesn't have any oomph to keep seemingly like it's moving. Yes, but not really going anywhere. So this is why you don't get the message. That's the beauty of it. Yeah. The getting the message is you don't get the message. That's the beauty of it. Yeah. You get frustrated, you get angry, you get confused, and you know what? You realize it's not you that's confused. It's not you that's angry. It's new. It's not you that gets frustrated, and you start finally seeing what you used to look from. So you were looking from this conglomerate called Ali, and now you see it.
Yes.
Or this conglomerate called Paul, and now you see it. Yeah. So now you are seeing what you used to look from. They're still looking from it, but now you have withdrawn, or you haven't. There's been a withdrawal of a lot of interest and attention or belief and faith in that.
Yes.
And then that faith and belief and interest and attention starts like fertilizing your garden or, bringing water into your desert. Yes.
Yes.
You start actually being fed by the interest and attention. It's not getting pushed into a black hole and getting sucked out. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And the interest attention directed by the head always forms an addiction, literally. The first addiction is the head's addicted to the idea of self completely. And then that springs other addictions when the mistake of this formation of Paul tries to get out of what it's not in.
Mhm.
And then it gets into drugs, alcohol, overeating, sex, and all this. Yes.
Yes.
So it's really wanting to get out of self. It wants
Yes.
relief from that. And yet there isn't one. And therefore, it produces all the vehicles that you take to get out of self, produce a much more fucking concrete self than ever.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the addict or the alcoholic or the food eater or whatever it may be. Yeah.
Yes.
And then everyone looks to treat the forms of addiction, but we don't get to the source of it, the SOURCEs, yeah, which is the mental state is addicted to self. That's none of your business, literally. It's none of your business. Your business is the seeing of it,
Yes.
yeah, and then see what happens with the seeing of it. This isn't like, oh, I've got to stop that or I should do more of this. That doesn't, that's the old methodology of responding to a problem with an idea of a solution. That's not this. This is a disarming message, I feel. You finally rely on what's truly reliable, which is just the naked awareness that's a given here. Yeah.
Yes.
Most people are trying to go unconscious, tell you the truth.
Yes.
Most activities are to produce an unconsciousness, literally. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So this message is so beautiful because it disarms that whole movement of a call to arms. And when you finally see something, you see it as not you. And see, if you see it as you, then you're gonna, there's the you wants to do something about that. But when you see it as not you, the seeking stops, and then you see the emperor with no clothes because the seeker idea is clothed by the seeking. So the
Yes.
seeking is what gives clothes to the emperor, which has no clothes. When the seeking stops, you see it. You see the emperor with no clothes. Yeah, because you're before all this, and you're always going to be before all this. You are not an afterthought here. You are before thought here. The head would like to have you as an afterthought, but really we are before thought. Yeah. Yes. So this message for me worked just like I didn't go to a behavioral modification meeting because that didn't work for me. Yeah. It worked as long as I stayed in the program. When I was, when I was out there running around on the drugs and stuff, what was managing my life, what was directing my life, always led me to having to be managed by others. I ended up in jails, institutions, hospitals, yeah. And one of those times I got brought to a program for 2 years, which was really behavioral modification. Yeah. And in that confine and in that controlled environment, I would be okay. But the only way I would continue to be okay was I have to live there the rest of my life. Now, I didn't want to live in Delancey Street the rest of my life. I just didn't. I didn't want to be institutionalized, but it looked like that's the only way my life would be okay. Yeah. But I had a strong thing that no, no, no. And I left that place. And of course, I had a swing to the dark side, went out for 10 months, but where I landed was my true destination, which was recovery. And that was going to be 37 years ago. March 21st, I think it's 38 years ago. Yeah.
Right.
So I left Delancey Street because I asked the people there who had been there the longest, and I said, I was talking about, I think I need something, and I don't know if it's here. And they didn't know what the fuck I was saying. So I realized it's not here, this place called Delancey
Yeah.
Street. So I graduated and I was outmatched and I went down the tubes for about 10 months once more. And then I washed up on the shores of AA because I got struck sober. And that being struck sober would have died on the vine unless I was introduced to a way of life. So it did. It introduced me to a way of life. I was brought to my first AA meeting, and that way of life has allowed the miracle to extend and grow, actually, in a lot of ways for
Right.
37 years, where before it would have died a day or two later. Yeah. So this is, so this. So in that, I learned a lot about what I'm not, to tell you the truth. Yeah. And I feel that's the only way it's going to work. Because if you don't see what you're not, you're living as it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're living as it, you're going to be completely perplexed and confused by the statement of Ramana Maharshi that the greatest mystery here, being ourselves reality, is reality wanting to attain reality. You are going to be super confused by that statement.
Mm.
Yeah, because the head is so sure that it's it. Yeah. And it thinks it can alter reality, it can make another reality. Yes. But it truly, truly will not admit it's being itself reality. It
Yeah.
won't. It won't go that, it won't cross that line. And yet that's what we are. If you listen to non-duality and you've heard that invitation is based on that. That the greatest mystery here, being ourselves reality, not becoming reality or once were reality, and then we have to work hard to get back. No, being ourselves reality, no matter what
Mm.
circumstances and situations are happening in the dreaming, they don't have any effect on the basis of everything, which is you and I. There is no you and I. There's being
Yeah.
ourselves reality. It's the you and I trying to be ourselves reality is using reality to look for reality.
Yeah.
That's how you know for there to be a looking for reality, there's got to be a you and I. There's got to be a
Yeah.
you and me. The you and me are the reason why you're driven to look for reality and not uh, resting in the be stillness of it while you're
Yeah.
active and doing whatever else you're doing
Right.
all the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the truth. And
Mhm.
so when you hear that statement, being ourselves reality, and just sit there, you'll see a lot about what you call you as not you because it's going to arise
Mhm.
and says, all right, I got to get do this. I blah, blah. It comes up with the whole story. I got to get ready to be myself reality.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do myself into a state of being. You can't. Yeah. If you are the state of being, doing is is an act of denying the state of being. Yes.
Exactly.
It's an act of denying the state of being. When you
Yeah.
try to do yourself into being, there must be a belief you're not in being. And this is the belief of the head. And why try to change that? That's like Mount Rushmore in a sense. Why just lose interest in it?
Yeah.
Not by effort, but by recognizing it's not you. Yeah. And in
Yeah.
this case, oh, well, I feel like I'm faking it too until I make it. Well, that's fine
Yeah.
because you're actually faking the truth.
Yeah.
And it's gonna shine through. You can say I'm not that and not believe it, but then you're gonna get a something from the void's gonna go, yeah. What? Yeah, you're gonna get a yay,
Yeah.
finally. Yes. So you may stumble into it, fake it, but once you fall in it, you fall into the tiger's mouth,
Yeah.
and it's a done deal.
Yeah.
Seriously. And then whatever happens, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think almost anything is important enough to write home about it. I don't. I just think shit comes and goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, here we are Wednesday night with some friends. The dog is sleeping. Yes. There's peace and quiet.
Yeah.
Agitation is subdued. Yeah. The head has the monkey head has been put on the pole,
Mhm.
runs up and down. I'm never gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm never gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm never gonna get it. And then so much more gets emphasized that you wasn't being emphasized with this pinnacle of mental obsession. Yeah.
Yeah.
The addiction to self. Yeah. There isn't a self, first of all.
Mm.
We use the word self a lot because I come out of recovery, but in fact, it's the highest point it can reach is selfing.
Mm.
It can never be a self. Yet what
Mm.
selfing does implies there already is one. That's what selfing does. Selfing is a mental activity, and it uses uh, the mental quite well because it uses the past to authenticate a present assumption. So it says you are definitely a self, and then it stokes. Oh, you can try to get out of it, yeah, or make it better, or whatever. But basically, the starting point in all of its uh, discussions is you already are one. You don't feel like you're becoming a self during the day, do you? Or unbecoming? No,
No.
but the head feels like it already is one for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So this is the thing. The biggest problem the head had is it's not true. Yeah. So in this moment, a self can never appear. It can be imagined or it can seem to, but it can't be brought about.
No.
So what it says is, I was a self. Yeah. I will be a self. Therefore, I am a self. And then now that therefore I am a self, what it rests on in the moment isn't memory. It rests on the I am,
Mhm.
the I amness, the sense of onness. It uses that to validate its story that you're Paul. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So when you feel like Paul, that's coming from a bastardization of the I am
Mm.
because there's no Paul to feel like Paul. There's no cognizance. There's no oomph in there. There's no life. There's no existence. But in the I am, everything's there. And so the head uses the I am and emphasizes Paul and not emphasize the I am. Yeah. So the I am is what's allowing, it really validates the I was and I will be.
Yeah.
The only way you can feel like you're alive is through the I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's sort of
Yeah.
like when you would draft some car or something. You know, you
Uh-huh.
so the head goes, a lot of times I was Paul. That's why it constantly has the past, the door to the past open, and then the door to the future open. Yes, because it keeps repeating I was and I will be, and then it brings you by its logic to I am, and then you feel presence. And you make a mistake thinking, oh, that's Paul. Paul is the presence.
Mm.
Gets away with it quite a
Mm.
lot, just goes on. And basically, I don't think it's moved to any more creepier, more slicker thing because it's gotten lazy. It's
Mhm.
got us like, he's got us like tranced out cows, just going back and forth to the same well with no water and dropping the pan, the, the thing in it,
The
and
pan.
then there's no water, and then
Mm.
starting bitch about whoever, and on and on. What do we really do all day? Isn't it a regurgitation? We're refeeling, we rethink,
Yes.
not we're not doing it. Let's make it clearer. There's refeeling, rethinking, regurgitating, remembering, regretting, and means to do again, right? Re. Yeah, it's just basically uh, it makes it look different because of time and let's say scenery, but it's really the same old, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
The head goes through its files and just keeps on keeping on. And if you're somewhat conscious, sometimes it tries to it only has limited finite loops, like little tapes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's trying to get away with a 1975 tape, applying it to a 2025 day.
Oh, wow.
And it's like the what it's saying is happening can't even land onto what's happening. It's so egregious, its offness, yeah.
Yeah.
We used to do this in AA, or I did with the people I worked with. I would say, listen, let's just do a bare bone inventory. Just make a note when you got up. Yeah. And what did you do? Take a shower. Yeah. Eat, buy a bagel, whatever. Just a basic inventory of what you did, where you went. And then try to remember the narration that was going
Mm-hmm.
along with it. So, and you would see if you looked at the day, you did a whole lot, but the narration was you're not doing shit. You
Yeah.
need to do it. But really, if you looked at it, you did a lot. You woke up, ate, took a shower, did this, went here, but the whole day, you need, you lazy bum or something like that. And and I said, just see the difference from what you're listening to and actually what's happening. It can
Yeah.
have a huge, giant chasm in between it. And it's because we're so out to lunch, it just gets by. And then a miracle's forgotten in about 10 minutes, and then a seeming slight is dragged out every day for 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah. So we've been moved out of seemingly, we represent the moving from seeing to seer. You know, if you looked at it as in time and space, an evolutionary event, we're at a bad point of an evolutionary event
Yeah.
where the seeing has been moved to the seer and the hearing to the hearer and the feeling to the feeler. Yeah. And we've lost seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting,
Yeah.
touching. We've lost a lot in there. And we've gained a lot of seer, hearer, feeler, taster, toucher. And that which is the consequence of that ain't going to change it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This, like Einstein said, you're not going to find a solution in the system that produced the problem. Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, he said you got to look in another way. Yeah. And this is what happens in recovery. Recovery, somebody will talk to you for 20 minutes how fucked they are. They have no money, they no place, they're taking the kids, they're doing this and they're doing that, and you've been in the program a while. And when they ask you what should I do? You go to a meeting. Now, to
Yeah.
their logic, they say, no, I've got to get money. I got to pay that rent. But we know better because we've been in AA for a while and we go to a meeting. And it makes no sense to their mental logic, which is the point, because their mental logic is fucking insane,
Yeah.
literally. Even though they would thought, I have an airtight case, 30 minutes, I've proven to you I am completely fucked. And that may be the case, but you go to a meeting. And you know what? The ones who don't, you may not see them again. The ones that do go to the meeting, you keep seeing them. Yes. Because this is how the back of it gets broken, is by not listening to it.
Yes.
Yes. You have to hear it because you're awake. You're awake.
Yes.
And, there's so much that you're going to hear and feel and see that's incredible. You got to put up with this. Yeah. But you're going to hear it. You're going to hear the rantings of the old mental process, but you don't need to listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're not the listener and you're not the hearer, but there's no need. There'll be a point where the listening is over and you're hearing it. And you've taken its biggest job away from it without any effort, and that's being the GPS. When
Yeah.
it says go left, you go straight. And it keeps, when you do it here and you don't go the way the thing does, it goes, And then it says, all right, make a U-turn here, and and they wants to keep you get back on the same
Yeah.
thing, but that's bye-bye. You're
Yeah.
not listening. And
Yeah.
it actually loses interest in trying to, I know you're not going to go left. It
Exactly.
it just gives up, and then it goes, it actually becomes like white noise in a lot of ways. Almost not one thought did you really notice happen.
Mm.
Not one, there was not one memorable thought during the whole day.
Right.
So it's hearing like a white noise going on, and it has no ability, it's not taking you away from anything or away from this. You can't be away from what you are. All these false powers we've given it, this bullshit, it's not true. You do not need to get into the moment. You've never been out of a moment. Yeah. So you're here completely established. Yeah. And then it says tons of shit to the contrary. But you are established in be still, not
Yeah.
because of some Herculean task. You are being reality.
Yeah.
Yes. There you go. And then you come here if you like and come to this little refuge. Satsang is an incredible little event. It really is, I feel. It gives a lot with and demands very, very little. And even with the Zoom, you don't even have to get fully dressed. It's incredible. You could be naked from the belt down. It's mind-boggling, literally. You're not, you can lay against a closet door, you can be in a chair, you could be making food, do whatever, it doesn't matter. But the satsang, you're getting saturated with it, knowing it or not. Yeah. And a whole lot of the heavy lifting, if there's any, is happening without you knowing it. Yeah. Giant, massive shifts occur and you don't notice shit. You observe it later on. Yeah. 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 So, see, what gets changed is that which you used to note change. Yeah. So you're not noting change anymore. You're not keeping up with every movement that's occurring. Yeah. You're just like, you're an uninterested observer, and actually
Yeah.
uninterested observing, really, of the interested observer. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, anyone have anything they'd like to share? Chris is here. He wants to share,
Yeah.
but I say it and I have to repeat it back to them.
Sure. I come
I
to
can't repeat that. Sorry. All right.
my experience with the teaching is I become less concerned about being better or more.
All
And
right.
that and I feel
Yes.
that's a relief.
All right. So Chris says one of the effects of the message is he's lost interest in being better and getting more. Yes. Yes. That's a typical, and that's huge, man. It is literally because if you don't feed the propulsion, it dies. You lose interest, and then it just runs out. Yeah. The idea of getting better ran out.
Yeah. It that was not our fault. We got into this world, and the world says you got to be better. School tells you got to be better. You got to get better grades. Your parents want you to be better,
Yes.
and you got to have a girlfriend and become a husband, and you got to have kids. You got, you know, you
Yes.
got to be a better person.
Yes. 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 You can't see propulsion for just the 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 grace of movement. It has to have a direction and a purpose. And then a weird thing is the in most cases in the head's view, the end justifies the means. And then you're almost apt to do anything. And then the basic needs of an apparatus, the body, become uh, those need to be met in a way. But now the head makes a lot of wants needs. So I've sat in a room at the same time at a meeting where somebody who didn't have a place to stay was going to confront that night, hopefully to find like a, sometimes there would be these big cardboard boxes that a refrigerator would come in and stuff. Yeah. And you could get in there and maybe get a better night's sleep on the street. So he was concerned, hoping he could find one, something like that. Yes. And he had an anxiety that it may not work out. And then a lady shared with the exact same level of anxiety concerning her fourth house. They were buying their fourth house, and she was anxious, and it was just the same anxiety he had, different things reflecting off of different things. But to her, the need for that house, which was a want, was as powerful as the need for this guy to find that refrigerator box. Yeah, because this is a subjective experience. Yeah, you have a weighty topic, it doesn't matter. The head can add or subtract to it completely. So she was in the same anxiety as the guy that was looking for a place to sleep that night, concerning about the work that they were doing on her fourth house. Yeah, because this is all subjective. Nothing doesn't mean there's everything, there's no meaning to everything. And one, two, three, go, the subjective experience. What does that do? The mental state gives a lot of meaning to shit. Huge amount of meaning, and it makes mountains out of molehills, and it tries to make molehills out of mountains, like addiction, where the person who's addicted is the last one to know, which is insane. You meet him, and you know in 5 minutes he's fucked, and he's been confused for 30 years. Yes? All subjective hocus pocus. Yes. So this is a subjective experience going on, completely interpreted by the head. The head is giving meaning to things. That's what it does. Yes? And you take it to be your meaning, but it isn't. It's the head's meaning. Yeah. This is a subjective experience. I had it very, it's so obvious. When I got run over by a car, I had extreme physical damage. Yeah. So people like me, they airlifted me from one hospital to a teaching hospital because they needed, it was going to be, I needed more care. Yeah. And I ended up in a part of this wing in the hospital that were people who had extreme physical trauma. Maybe there was 11 of them in that place. And they wanted us, after we got situated with the situation, to talk with each other if we could. Some people couldn't get up or get in a wheelchair, but they wanted us to. And after a while, we were in there for a while. You would meet someone, and someone didn't drink, and this happened to them, and they started to drink. And then there was someone who was an alcoholic and got sober after he got run over. Yeah. So there was all these different reactions to the same trauma, basically. Same trauma, completely different experience. Not because of the trauma was different, that wasn't. The physical was very, very similar, but it was a subjective event. Yes? So knowing that, yeah, is a quite important thing. Yes? This is not a real place you're in. You're making the size of the room, you're making the height of the ceiling, you're making everything. The head is making it through by giving it meaning. Yeah, yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if that magnifying thing that makes everything so heavy could open up and you would see much more of a panoramic view? You would travel lighter here. Yeah, without any big practices or efforts, you would travel lighter because you would see things differently. That's simple, really. Yeah. The myopicness would be replaced by a more panoramic view, which would see the myopic view, where the myopic view never sees the panoramic view. But the panoramic view, being panoramic, sees the myopic view. And maybe you can entertain when you see that it's not you. You're not the origin of it. You're not the source of it. You're not the doing of it. Yes? Yeah, you are the seeing of it, really. You are the awareness of it. Yeah, I thought it's brought about a huge ease and comfort that I couldn't find in this life. Yes. And it found me in a sense through this message. And so, yes.
So
Hey, bro. Yeah, yeah. So, okay. Noah's here. We're gonna close. It's all right.
A question if you want to answer it
We have a question from
from
the peanut gallery. Yes. Yes. All right. I'll-
Do you ever pray? Do you ever do the equivalent of what we would think of as prayer? Because I know you do natural meditation, especially waking up and sleeping.
all right. So he asked me, do I pray like formally? No, but that's not because I'm just reporting today. I did not pray. Yeah. I prayed actually because I went to a meeting. And in the meeting that we say two prayers in the beginning and the end. So I actually did. I prayed twice. Involuntarily, let's say. But yeah. But I would pray if some situation arose, but it's not like I know what I'm going to do after I do it. I have no idea. You know what I mean? I don't have a plan of how I'm going to be. I just meet the day and then I know what I'm going to do after I do it, really. Literally.
Maybe in the sense you pray all the time, like you meditate all the time.
Well, I feel it's you're being meditated. Yes, I feel that. Yes. If you what meditation is, if there would be any object of meditation, it would be awareness. That would be what you would want to meditate on. Yes. And if you are awareness, yes, that's even supremo, bettero than having it as an object of meditation, having it as the subject object of meditation. Yeah. Like just the awakeness being obvious to me is the essence of meditation, literally. Yeah, but if I get news that my blood pressure is really bad, I will formally sit and control the breath more so that the blood pressure goes down. Yeah. But I don't see that. I see that as that which is driven is can self-maintain. So the action figure realizes, shit, I could explode any minute. And then I have a great joy in the morning because I have a history of not so great sinuses. And in the morning, sometimes I can actually breathe through the nose. And then Amelia is still asleep, so I don't want to wake her. So I just luxuriate in breathing through the nose. And I actually count them I count each one of them as a unique experience. Because it could be months that doesn't happen. So yes. So that's what happens. Yeah. But I'm not against prayer or anything like that. For me, prayer was a substitute for the real thing, so to speak. Yeah. When the real thing dawned on you, there was no need for prayer. But when there was a lot of absence of stuff, then it was a good way to fill that place up with prayer. Yeah. But in AA, we don't pray for ourselves. Generally, because they know that blows up usually. So they they uh they direct us to pray for others because when you pray for yourself, you may be surprised what you get. Because sometimes the last thing you need is what you think you want. And sometimes you got to learn the hard way. I prayed for this. Yes, you prayed for this. So it's a dangerous, it can be dangerous in the wrong hands, I feel. But yeah, that's how I see it today. But I did pray today and it was wonderful. There's a young guy who just dropped in. climbed over the fence on Saturday, and I've known him, and he's returned from another fling out there. So I wanted to meet him there. So I went. So it was like, it was very healthy for everyone. Yeah, it's a nice meeting today. We got some old timers there. I'm like a new old timer, but some guys like 50 years, and some of them I could do without. Because they live on that there's a new person at the meeting because they say this thing for for
Yeah.
the last 36 years. They say the same thing. And I've been at that comedy show a little over it, you know what I mean? But it worked on the new people. uh, yes. Well, no, so yeah. Anyone else? Uh, what shampoo I use? Let me think. Let me see. What shampoo do I use? I can't say because Amelia's here, because I'm probably using her shampoo mostly. So, but whose is it? It's not hers or mine. Yeah, it's just shampoo.
Good question.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. It's just shampoo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Paul,
Yes.
I have a question.
Oh, you do? All right.
I got
Where can we get a copy of that video with you in front of Ramesh?
All right. I'll have to you don't see me. I think it is videoed, but it's audio. I'm behind. Yeah. But I'll see if I can find it, honey. Yes, I will. They sent it to me, so could be in some files I have. Yeah. Yes.
Great.
Yeah. It was wonderful to be there. That time, Leonard Cohen was with him then, the great singer. Yeah, so he was there every day, and yes, Leonard Cohen. I can say it because he's passed away now. I wouldn't have said it there. I like his anonymity. But yeah, he was there. Can I tell you a story though? 5 minutes about when I was there. I've used this many times just to point something out. So I was there to Bombay to see him, but that will only happen in the morning. Then he had the rest of the day. So I quickly discovered AA there, and I went to some AA meetings in Bombay. And man, I was so moved because knowing I didn't speak the dialect, they would have the first half of the meeting in English, and and then they'd have a break and they'd bring chai and like very lousy cookies out with a little thing. And if you know India, if you're in almost any building in India, it has like the oldest dust in the world, or it's unbelievable, like what's in the room because it's been, I don't know what it is, but it's so. And I was going to those meetings at night. It was great, and I met, and a lot of these people had a lot of time. It was really cool getting to know them, and so I had this problem. As an action figure. I was in around the world. I was going. I had a large bag. I was traveling a lot. I had a large bag with me, and I just assumed that I would be able to leave it at the guest house because in the middle of seeing Ramesh, I wanted to go to see Tiruvannamalai, where Ram Maharshi lived, and I was going to take a train there, and I didn't want to take this huge bag. And so I was hinting about this at the non-duality people. No one was getting the message. Like, hey, could somebody who lives here take care of my bag? There was no one at all. And then one said, well, why don't you put it in uh, a locker at the railroad station? And then the people at the A meeting said, don't put it in a locker at the railroad station. And so what happened is this old guy came up to me and says, I'll take your bag at the meeting. Yeah. And the next day he came to where I was staying and got the bag. Yeah. So I go to Ramana Maharshi, everything, come back like 10 days later, 11 days later, see the guy, and then he brings the bag back to my place. And he had fixed it. The zippers were broken and he fixed the bag. And then a guy at the meeting told me, he took a train to you, or he doesn't have a car. He took a train to where you were staying, Paul, to pick it up and to bring it back. And it just started to make me cry. And this is why in our poor little adventure of non-duality invitation, we have fellowship. Yes. We go out to eat, we drink coffee, we hang out, because at that place everyone just left when we were in Bombay. Everyone just split, and there was no, and some of the people also had memberships at the only beach club there. And they would never let us in. They wouldn't. Oh, hey, yeah, come with me. So we'd have to go wait there and wait for some other Westerner to say, "Hey, can you take me in?" Yeah. So, so fuck the non-duality people. No, it was sort of like really weird. It was. It was sort of like, yeah. And then this person in the Indian man just had me in tears. He picked the zipper and everything.
Wow.
Didn't have to do anything like that, but it really helped me a lot. And so I was very touched by it. And we would like to have that aspect in the non-duality community that we're involved with. Yes, yes. We hang out together. You know, I'm not in a get ready room until they come. Where I was actually taking in the garbage when some of them came. Yeah, it just works better. Yeah, yeah, I feel. So, all right. I guess we're going to say goodbye then to everyone. We have one of my favorite people. Nice to see you. Yeah,
Sure.
everyone says Anu. Yes, Anu.
I do.
Yeah.
Hi,
We
guys.
Hey, yeah. We got Zoe Banks. She's in America. Nice to see you. Stephen Mack. He's never left. That's good. Colin. Nice to see you. Ernie. Darshan. He's in the dark, but he's a source of light. We got Mr. Bitterman. Nice to see you, Mr. B. Yes, James Olson with his cohort brother, Kathleen, Brenda, Lucy, Gregory. We missed you tonight, Gregory. It's nice to see you today, Greg. Yes. And everyone else that I can't get to on the next page. Hey, thank you so much. Pleasure always is. It's such a privilege to sit in satsang, truly.
Thank you, Paul.
And not in India. I wouldn't mind, but I like to be in Novato. Yeah, saves a lot of traveling. And yeah. Yeah. So everyone, thank you so much. We'll be around tomorrow. In a couple of weeks, we're going to be away, February 17th to the 24th. We're going to have a different schedule. We're going to be away. I think we're going to go to Mexico, I think.
Yes.
And so we'll have, it'll all be clear if we're going to do a talk or not.